Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be reunited with Gianfranco with his movie When Big People Lie. Let's take a look at the clip.
I'll show you a trick, Mr. Elvis. My father showed me how to eat this the right way. You take your pita, you hold like this, right? You take your favorite piece, maybe this is a good one here. Yeah? You like that? Just like that. You make a little sandwich, maybe dip in the hummus. That's for you. See? It's okay. If you don't want, maybe you could do something different. I don't know. You try. Let's see how her sandwich looks.
Gianfranco, I'm so happy to see you again. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, man.
How's it feel to be so loved at a film festival? Because we just love you.
Yeah, it's truly, it is overwhelming. It is. It is overwhelming, yeah.
It is.
In a positive way, you know,
Yeah.
you like come and you know you're coming to a family, but then you make more family, right?
Yeah.
The community just keeps growing, which is, I think, the power of New Filmmakers.
Well, we love you and we're so proud of you. You've won awards with us recently. You've been on the live television with us promoting the event we were celebrating.
It's become romantic.
It's very romantic, it really is, but it's also credit to you because not only are you a fantastic filmmaker, just a wonderful human being, and so glad that you're part of our family, so we'll never let you go, that's the problem.
It might be the other way around. I might not let you
Oh,
go.
well, it's a beautiful, just love family, and my goodness me, like, you always just make me fall in love with your characters that you create. So, you know, for those that haven't seen your film, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, When Big People Lie is about an 8-year-old boy who witnesses his mom get into a green card marriage. And really, at the heart of the film, there's this dramatic question that we pose, which is, why do we lie? And probably more specifically, why is it that immigrants have to lie, and why must it be part of their utility belt? And and that's kind of something that Elvis has to learn. It's his discovery. That's his kind of, you know, his maturation arc, so to speak, for his coming of age.
Yeah, and I love Elvis. This was a wonderful job, and it's so nice how you just captured this like dynamic of his perspective, you know, like what, and it would kind of, you couldn't help but reminisce that kind of experience when you're a kid and you see When Big People Lie, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I think I see something. I haven't been in the world long enough, but I feel there's an energy that you're not telling me the truth, you know? But anyways, this story goes, you know, a lot deeper. And as you said, you know, it's so tough, particularly on this particular storyline, and the amount of things that an immigrant goes through in the first place is a lot of pressure on families and young people. Where was it for you? Where was that moment where you had this idea, and how did that develop into this film?
You know, it was a lot of the people that I saw growing up in my own community. So I mean, this, in many ways, this might be like the most intimate film I've made.
Yeah.
Just because of how reaching it is, you know. And there's a tendency in cinema, you know, where one identifies with whatever they are. You know, I'm Afro-Latino, so as people would go like, oh, well, that's kind of niche, you know, be an Afro-Latino. But the truth is, the world is so much more complex than that. And while there's certainly a place for films like that, I think that the beauty of When Big People Lie is looking at it and seeing, you know, cross-ethnicity and cross-racial relations, and you know, not what we typically expect to see. Right, so when you get a Dominican woman and a Dominican kid, and this, you know, really they're half Dominican, half Haitian.
Yeah.
And then you bring in, you know, someone that's Arab into the equation. You know, what does that look like? And is it any less true?
Yeah.
I find that was often the case. There's so many people from Palestine, you know, that are Palestinian workers in Boston when I was growing up, and I remember that. I remember, you know, vividly eating all kinds of, you know, little snacks from over there because my mom worked at this furniture store, and so it was very much like my family. You know, I remember like learning Habibi like as young as like 7 or 8 years old because they were part of like my family infrastructure socially, and I think that's where it started. Just wanting to see people be with people and not necessarily be the same kind of people.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, firstly as well, it's just it's the world we want to live in by just, you know, intertwining, intermixing our community, our cultures, everything. It's how I grew up, and I appreciate that. But I love that you did actually make something very intimate, because it, you know, it's personal to this particular family. It's definitely a reflection on the harsh experiences of what an immigrant goes through, no matter which country that you're from, and the fact that it's harder on certain communities, certain cultures, with that threat of immigration, and it's so tough on families. I just thought you really captured the stakes, and what was at stake. How in this particular film did you work with your actors? What was that process when working with them?
Yeah, I mean, my process really never changes too drastically, you know, film to film with my actors. I try to build as much of a relationship with them, and I mean, you know, my contract with them is like, I'm releasing this to you. I don't know any more than you know about this character right now, but I'm releasing them, and now you have full autonomy to discover what that means. You know, why is it that Lola makes this decision to bring this man into the house? You know? Why is it so important for her to, you know, include Elvis in this moment when they're making this contract up? Why is it that, you know, Mohammed is okay with sleeping on a couch? I mean, these are elements that I think ultimately reveal more about the inner lives of these characters, and those actors are really, they're chasing that. And I really have to say, like, I'm not so involved in that process where they're tearing up all of these feelings. I mean, there's so much resent in Sasha, who plays Lola wonderfully, and you can feel that void in her. And all I can really do is kind of be a receptacle, right? So we're sitting down and we're talking just like you and I are talking, and she might have, you know, thoughts and ideas. And the only thing I can offer her are questions, right? Well, why? Why do you want to? Why is it that you choose to, you know, look at it this way versus this other way? And get her thinking. And you know, then what we see on the screen is this really palpable performance, this, you know, very like unique experience that she, you know, she rips into me every time I see it. She really does. And so does Farouk, and, you know, who plays Mohammed so genuinely. I mean, I look at that cat and I'm thinking, I really like this dude, man. You know, even the way he walks, I'm like, man, how does he like walk like that, man?
He's got charisma, doesn't he? I know, he really does.
That's big.
Yeah, you know? No, most definitely. Now, obviously, hang on, is this your third film with us?
This is my third film with you guys.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's become
You're
very
racking them
romantic.
up. Yeah.
It's very intimate at this point.
It's amazing. It's amazing. What was there anything in this particular film, you know, whether it be sort of through production or through the experience that kind of stands out for you that you can kind of take away from this film, like, you know, in terms of things you've learned as a filmmaker, or just the process, or this particular story?
Yes, this was the first time I'd worked with like a really young kid. You know, I'd had my own children in films prior, but you know, just because of the nature of that relationship, you know, my children need me, so I try to like not bring them on and be the lead of a film. I try to bring them on and be like a cute little extra somewhere. And
how was that though?
Having my kid?
No, I mean, how was it having in this film having a young?
That's the thing, right? I think that was like the magic is, you know, you're bringing in a kid, and you know, so much of the film relies on the idea of imagination, right? And like what it is that, whether good or bad, right? Like a kid will fantasize about ideas in real life, in real time, because they don't really understand. They're just kind of playing with words. You know, they're hearing them and going contextually, like, what does that even mean? And there's that, you know, it's like a swinging pendulum, and that I think Caden, this kid, he comes in, and I, you know, watching him, I go, I don't even have to direct this kid. This kid is like, really, I'm just like, you know, I'm like, here's the stuff that's happening on the page, you know. I don't really have to go too far into it. He's experiencing exactly what Elvis is, you know, in the same way. He doesn't really know what this world is. All he knows is he's built a relationship with Sasha. He's, you know, building a budding one with, you know, Farouk. And watching a kid on set is magic because they are perhaps the most interesting, emotionally evocative, and immediately professional on a set. You know, they come in and they do their job and they're ready to play, and they give you any option you can desire.
And he did a fantastic job. Like, it was actually extra special seeing it on a big screen as well, because, you know, it was, you know, it's not easy, you know, taking on a role like this and sort of that perspective and understanding. But no, you found a good star in the making right there. My goodness.
I'm gonna, you know, all the love goes to my casting director. He, you know, he helps a lot of people out anyway. But Alan Luna is by far, like, he works. We have a very special relationship where, you know, usually I kind of know who I want cast going into a film. It's very rare that I don't. And I already have pre-established relationships with these people. I'm not writing it for them, but I can see it already.
Yeah.
And I was like, the only thing I don't have in my Rolodex is a kid. I don't know where I'm gonna find this kid. So well, Alan went and found like 700 kids, you know, separate from me, and pulling every kind of favor on planet Earth. And eventually he sent me, like, I want to say around 150 kids to kind of comb through, and we boiled it down to these 10. And I remember when you know, Kaden walked in, we're having this meeting. Sasha was there with me, you know, who plays Lola. I'm like, you're gonna help me cast this kid because you're his mom, you know. and so we're sitting there, and, you know, he's telling us a story, and the story made us all cry, you know.
And that's when you get that moment where you're like, oh my goodness, this is it.
We're like, this is the guy. We don't know. We don't know what it is, but there's an emotionality to him. There's a texture to his voice. There's like a whole life that, you know, goes unseen, that almost feels poetic. Which feels very much part of the tone of the piece. That's actually very interesting. I do really, I think the tone was people were really engaged into the actual story, the emotions of what was going on. You could hear a pin drop at some points, because, you know, there's a lot of context in this. Now, it was electrifying last night. It was just so, I almost found last night at the festival, I was like, it's overwhelmingly, like, there's so much energy here. You know, it's not the first time you've been part of our film festival. It's not the first time you've been part of our special In Focus celebrating Latinx filmmakers from all over the world. How was it? How was last night, and with this film in particular? You know, every month is great at New Filmmakers, and there's so much to kind of glean from every experience here. There's so many people that come, and, you know, again, filmmaking is community. It's the literal lifeblood of cinema. Are people that come together and make a film. It doesn't matter if you've got 5 people on the set. You still are relying on so many other people to come in and participate and say, hey, we back you, and we're your community as well. I think every time I've found the people were enthusiastic. But yesterday, how much do you know about wrestling?
I mean, I know wrestling.
First of all, I love wrestling.
Okay. When's your wrestling film coming?
It's coming.
Okay, good.
It's coming. But there's
no pressure.
There's a term in wrestling called a pop.
Okay. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, someone I don't know, whatever, like The Rock. The Rock shows up and there's a pop, you know, outside. The audience goes wild. Or some move, you know, in the crowd. And we played, we were like the 3rd film in our block, and there was like, I just wasn't expecting the pop, having come to prior events. You know, it's like a nice, intimate community. But there's the damn place was on fire. And you know, the minute the film ends, you know, the pop, I felt like I was like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, you are.
You know what I mean?
It was euphoric.
I was John Cena. I was like, you can't see me.
See?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that
I got crazy.
You know what? I love that that's the first time we've been quoted the experience of wrestling. So I love that. It's a new thing for new filmmakers, you should be very proud of. No, that's amazing. And honestly, but that comes down to people like you, the filmmakers, to bring that energy, to bring that love, and certainly you had that last night. So your next film is a wrestling movie, is that what we're saying?
Definitely, it's definitely in the cards.
Where are you taking us next? Where are you taking us?
That's a great question. I've got one film that's in post right now. It's called Anamoya. It's a trip. It's kind of more like along the lines of the Sabor.
Okay.
You know, it's a little more Sabor type. It's not so much satire, but it lives in that space. It's a very high it's a low concept genre film, very low concept. Saiwata is even more high concept, so I kind of bring the bar down a little bit. But sometimes it's very much, like I do one for the people and then I do one for me.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I mean?
allowed,
Yeah, I'm like, let's get a little Lynchian with
Yeah.
this. Let's get kind of in a weird space. So it's very liminal in that way. Like even if it's on a visual level, it feels like you're entering some kind of like, what is this thing? And I like that journey. And then I've got one film in pre, and that one's gonna be special, but I can't talk about it right now.
Okay, all right.
But that one is
All
gonna
right.
be special.
Well, listen, whatever you do,
Which one's this one
whatever
film?
you, yeah, I know. Whatever you do and wherever you bring us, I always love the world. I get lost in the characters you create, which
Thank you.
is, a credit. But thank you for being such a good ambassador as a filmmaker with us at New Filmmakers LA, and
Thank
we're
you
just
for
super
championing
proud of
me,
you.
and I mean that.
Yeah.
I've never said this on camera.
Yeah.
I feel championed by New Filmmakers LA, and everybody here at New Filmmakers LA really does champion the filmmakers. And not that this needs to become an ad. I just want you guys to know that we filmmakers that are on the other side, we feel that, and that championing goes so far, and that's something that I can say I won't forget. So thank you.
Thank you, firstly, because, we do it from the heart and you give us your heart and your film. So, we just really appreciate you. So, but I'm looking forward to the next adventure. But thank you for joining us today.
Thank you
And
guys.
a big thank you to all Gianfranco's brothers who came in yesterday. One of them surprised him. It was so amazing, so beautiful. But that's the kind of guy you are. So just you are a love bug. We love you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Love you
Gianfranco,
guys.
everyone.